But hello, everyone. Welcome to the Per Diem Nursing webinar. And my goal is to make this short and sweet. So I'm going to keep this webinar under 30 minutes. And I did a lot of homework and preparing for this. So if you see me referring to notes or reading, that's why, because I don't want to mix any of the info. I want to make sure I give you guys exactly what I wanted to give you as far as the information. So two things before we get started. Number one, if your screen freezes or your audio glitches or if anything's doing anything weird technicality wise, go ahead and just refresh your screen, but don't close the screen or like leave the page because it'll kick you out. And I don't want that to happen. And then you'll have to enter the group again and you'll miss information. So just refresh the screen and get comfy, grab a drink, grab a pen and paper. There's going to be a lot of information. We're going to move really fast, but I want you guys to be able to take some notes as I go along. So to kick things off, we'll discuss 8 topics regarding per diem nursing. They are the definition of per diem nursing, earning 6 figures while working your dream schedule, job security, health benefits, learning opportunities, career advancement, financial planning, and integrating with the healthcare team. So 8 topics. And who is this webinar for? It is for all nurses. Okay, so if any of the next 5 things describe your current nursing situation, then this webinar is for you. Number 1, any type of nurse. This includes LPNs, RNs, advanced RNs like MSN degrees, practitioners, any kind of nurse in any kind of specialty, in any institution, in any unit, in any state within the United States. Number 2, nurses who are overworked and underappreciated. Number 3, nurses who are forced to work a schedule that hurts their personal life. Number 4, nurses who want to earn 6 figures while also controlling their schedule. And number 5, nurses who want to advance their career and think that school is the only option. There are so many benefits of per diem nursing and this webinar, but I want to focus on 3. The first one is increasing your income. Learn my system to find the highest paying per diem nursing position that fits your life based on your nursing specialty and your nursing expertise. I've been able to make anywhere from $20 to $90 an hour more from simply switching to per diem status. Now, let's say you make $30 an hour as a full-time bedside nurse. Switching to per diem status will now allow you to make $50 to $110 per hour. Literally, you're doing the same job. You've just upped your income by switching to per diem status. Number 2, control your career. Take control of your career to create a fulfilling work-life balance and be truly happy. I went from working a set schedule, mandatory holidays, every other weekend, to now deciding when I want to work and having minimal requirements. I create my own schedule and fit work where I want to fit it in. For example, this last week, I chose to work 68 hours and 5 days consecutively. Then I had the freedom to cancel my Mother's Day shift that I was scheduled for because I wanted to go surprise my family in Florida and spend a Mother's Day weekend with them. And I have the ability to cancel any shift 72 hours in advance. That's the privilege I get by being per diem status. I didn't want to miss out on quality time with them and making memories with my family. Number 3, community support. Join my new online community on the school app to grow your career alongside other empowered nurses. I'll show you how to sign up for that at the end of this webinar. So to recap, the 3 benefits are increasing your income, being able to control your schedule, and getting community support. Now, some of you know me, some of you don't know me at all. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and my career. My name is Zeina Sobh, and I've been a nurse for 18 years and a per diem nurse since 2014. Most of my experience is from the NICU, working at a level 4 children's hospital in Michigan. But now I work at a NICU in California. I've been able to do some really cool things in my career. I've been a travel nurse. I've done mission trips to Mexico. I've been an international nurse in Saudi Arabia. I'm a PIC certified nurse. I've worked for medical supply companies. I work for a same-day surgery center. I work at an alternative therapy center where I do IV maintenance therapy for patients there. And I just won the Daisy Award this past December. Now, I'm not saying any of this to brag or to sound cool. I'm just giving you a snapshot of the type of experience I've been able to obtain in 18 years and how I've come about the knowledge that I'm sharing with you guys today. I don't have time on this webinar to give a comprehensive course on how to become a per diem nurse, but I created a list of the top 10 misconceptions and objections regarding per diem status. Now, this is not theoretical or something I just made up. I've actually been a per diem nurse earning six figures while making my own schedule for several years now. It took me almost 4 years to figure out how I could use per diem status to find the exact job I wanted that offered the requirements that I wanted in a job, which were I wanted a high hourly wage, like the highest one I could find, and I wanted complete control of my schedule. During those 4 years, I didn't know what questions to ask, who to ask, and I definitely didn't know the answers. So here are a list of the top frequently asked questions that usually confuse people about per diem status. Number one, what is per diem nursing? So the actual definition is per diem nursing is an alternate status to part-time or full-time employment. You give up traditional things you're used to, like a set schedule and health benefits, for what you really want, like a higher hourly wage, the ability to make your own schedule, and take time off whenever you want to. You're a direct hire of the institution, so there's no agency, there's no middleman. It's just you and the employer. Number two, is there less job security with per diem nursing versus traditional nursing? And the answer is no. Per diem nursing is a permanent type of employment. It's not contract based or temporary. There's no end date or risk of losing your job simply by choosing to be per diem. A per diem nurse will be hired directly by the employer system and be a part of the union if there is one. So for me, in 2018, when I was looking for the per diem job I now have, I didn't know where to start. I thought I had to find an agency or a specific company that offered per diem shifts, but I was totally wrong. I found out almost every employer has per diem jobs, and once I was hired, I was locked into that employer system just like everyone else that was employed part-time or full-time. I have job security, I pay union dues, and I'm granted the same rights as the benefited staff that work alongside with me. Number three, how do I deal with unpredictable shift schedules? People think that unpredictable shift schedules are a total deal breaker when it comes to per diem nursing. The unpredictability of the shifts can be challenging for some nurses, especially those who prefer routine. Often, shifts are available when patient acuity is high and staffing is really low. The schedule of a per diem nurse becomes as flexible as they want, but the nurse must also be flexible in regards to when they go to work. This means a certain day or shift of every week may not be consistently available, but the nurse must go into work when it's needed, not necessarily when it's ideal. This could include working a weekend or off shift or even staying over for overtime. Now, I always try to take advantage of when the unit is busy. When it's busy, that's when I plan on stacking my days together and going to work. I'd rather work 16 hours in one shift, allowing me to make overtime and double overtime pay, than to work those two separate shifts in 8-hour segments over the span of 2 days, which would limit me to only making straight pay. Like if I'm going to be paid an hour of work, I want to be paid the most. And if that means it's an overtime hour, I'm signing up for that. So number four, how do I handle a lack of guaranteed hours? People are afraid of a lack of guaranteed hours when it comes to per diem nursing. Unlike a full-time or part-time position, hours are not set in advance and they're not guaranteed for per diem nurses. This can make income inconsistent. The trick to per diem nursing is to take advantage of when the unit is busy. So when they need nurses the most, you actually go to work. That's the trick. Many per diem positions have a low minimum requirement, usually averaging around 4 shifts per month. It's not mandatory to work more than the required hours, so you must be self-motivated to find and work as many hours as you desire. No one's going to force you to go to work, okay? You now have the freedom to choose when you want to go to work, so you must be the one to force yourself. For me, I stay in contact with my unit scheduler. Even though I may not have been confirmed for a shift that I previously wanted to work or signed up for, that might change closer to the actual date due to constant changes in census and even staffing. I mean, think of it. You get admissions, you get call ins, all of that can now change, and that shift might actually be available. The staffers or unit might forget to call you or offer you the shift, but be proactive and don't forget to call them. I literally stalk them sometimes, okay? And we laugh about it, but they're so thankful that I stay on top of it because I'm really needed when I'm being brought into work. Number five, will per diem nursing limit my learning opportunities? People think that per diem nurses have fewer learning opportunities. Because the per diem nurse might not be at a facility regularly, they might miss out on in house trainings or professional development opportunities that are offered to full or part time staff. If a per diem nurse who works infrequently or only works the required few days a month, they might not actually be present for things such as unit in services and unit competencies or special lectures or trainings, which sometimes happen randomly or sporadically. So usually all those days are identified and communicated through staff emails in advance. So you're able to attend those meetings and learning opportunities that you're actually interested in as you find time in your life to do so. I've made it known to my leaders that I'm interested in learning things like being a part of the small baby unit or learning body cooling or taking care of surgical patients. So even if I'm not at work or I don't check my email often or I might miss like the flyer that they have posted on the unit, they're able to get in touch with me and tell me when those classes are being offered and that I can sign up for them. So, again, you have to shift your mindset from being forced to do all the things on the unit, especially the ones that you don't want to do, to now being able to ask to be a part of the things that you find interesting and want to learn more about. Number six, is there limited career advancement with per diem status? No. But people think that there's limited career advancement once they switch to per diem status. Career progression or opportunities for promotions can be limited as per diem roles often lie outside the traditional hierarchy of the healthcare facility. A per diem nurse must advocate to become specialized in certain skills, such as being a member of the PIC team and to learn advanced roles like being a charge nurse. Units tend to trust nurses they've raised themselves, meaning a nurse who's experienced and who's joining a team or a newly established unit might not be viewed as the experienced veteran that they are. Respect and trust for that per diem nurse needs to be earned in order for the healthcare team to become comfortable with that nurse's abilities. So I'm going to give you guys an example. My job in Detroit at a level 4 NICU trained me to be like top notch when it came to IVs. I was a top IV starter. I was sought after with difficult IV starts. I even became the youngest member of the PIC committee or the PIC placement team. And they used to call me when they needed a line for a patient that anesthesia couldn't get, when they had a difficult start, when they even needed a pick on a patient who had to get surgery in the morning. And if it wasn't for me placing that pick, their surgery would have been canceled. So that's the level of like seriousness when it came to how good I was at starting IVs. But my current job, they weren't asking for me. They weren't looking for Zeina when they had a difficult patient or when they needed a pick. They weren't looking for me because they had their own set of nurses who were the Zainas, who were the sought after nurses who knew how to start IVs. So my reputation as being the good IV nurse didn't really matter at my current job. And it wasn't until about 2 years in until I started getting noticed for my skills. And it was honestly by accident. It was a frustrated mom of a baby, and she was just really frustrated because her baby had had multiple IV, attempts that were unsuccessful. And me and her had had a good rapport, and she was literally like, "Can she try?" and kind of called me on the spot. So I went ahead and tried, and I got it on the first try. Now everyone was looking at like, huh, like the girl's got some skills, maybe like she was able to get it. Then an hour later, literally the charge nurse came and asked me for me to go to another room to help another nurse with a difficult IV start. Went in that room and got that one. Now at the end of my shift, there was a patient who needed a pick line and they were unable to successfully place that pick. So they asked, "Can you try to start an IV on that patient?" And I got that one too. So I went from having 2 years with no IV starts to having one shift of three. So you will get those opportunities, and you will not be limited. It just might mean you have to prove yourself on a new unit. Number seven, how do I integrate with teams once I become a per diem nurse? People think it's impossible to be the new nurse and integrate within the existing healthcare team. Working infrequently might make it challenging to build strong working relationships with a consistent team. Working less frequently makes it harder to get familiar with the flow or the dynamics of the facility or unit you're on. A per diem nurse can work as many available hours as they would like, so working more means doctors and coworkers can become familiar with the per diem nurse and gain trust in them, allowing them to be fully integrated into the team. They'll now be able to take that nurse's input, requests, and suggestions much more readily. At my current job, I remember when I was taking care of a really, really sick vented patient, the RTs, the respiratory therapists there, would never leave me alone. They were not leaving me to do any of the respiratory care for my vented patient because they didn't know me, they didn't know my background, they didn't know what experience I had, what I was capable of, and what I was comfortable with. And the last thing they wanted me to do was mess anything up. So they kind of babysat me. But it took for me working with that patient for a few days, and they noticed, like, this girl knows what she's doing. She can handle her own. She knows how to retape a tube. She knows how to hold for an x-ray. And then they began to become comfortable with just checking on me periodically. Like if we were really busy, they'd say, hey, call me if you need me. They now entrusted in me to take care of that patient and know that I would call them if I needed them. Number eight, how difficult is the adjustment period in a new employer system? Every employer system has its own procedures, equipment, and team dynamics. Coming into an environment can be stressful for nurses and requires some level of adaptability. If a per diem nurse who works infrequently might find it difficult for them to remember all the unit policies and the routines for admissions and discharges. They might find it difficult to, know the flow of the unit and become efficient with the charting system. There's a time period of where it takes some adjusting and getting used to. Fortunately, though, the majority of nursing is the same no matter where you work. A nurse is a nurse is a nurse. And that means the core assessments and life saving interventions are applied in the same manner no matter the institution. Minor variances in practice can be learned through reading policies and asking a more knowledgeable and sometimes nice team member to educate you and give you some advice. The hospital I work at now has a garbage for everything. They have a garbage for tubing, a garbage for syringes, a garbage for recycling, a garbage, a garbage for diapers. Literally, there's a separate garbage for everything. And I would go to throw something and wait away and pause like, oh my God, I don't know where it goes. And sometimes I even get caught up, with, hey, where does this box for the gloves go? Or where does the empty Sandy wipes container go? And it took some adjusting, but now I know what goes where. And if I don't, it's not a big deal. I just ask. So you'll forever be learning, but it's not that hard, and you just look for somebody superior to you to help you with that. Number nine, how do I handle my financial planning and investing? Successful per diem nurses become savvy with budgeting and financial planning. Building your savings account gets a lot easier when you start making a significantly higher wage as a per diem nurse. Additionally, investment brokers can help with the best retirement and investment options for you. Now, I don't depend on the retirement payout to be given to me and handed to me when I retire because I am actively and currently building a better, more lucrative one as we speak. Number 10, how do I acquire health benefits as a per diem nurse? Per diem, being self insured is not as difficult or scary as you may think. Health insurance brokers exist because other people out here in the world have to buy their own health plans too. Find a health insurance broker to help you acquire the right health benefits for you and your family. Think about it. What do self employed people and business owners do when they need health benefits? They go out and get them. So that's the same thing that we do. When I was looking for health benefits, I was confused, and I'll admit it was a little bit intimidating because I knew nothing. I went into my broker's office and asked him a million questions, like literally a million. I looked at several different plans, and then finally, it took me like 2 weeks, but I chose the best one that worked for me. I've been self-insured since 2014 and it's been fine. I have insurance. I've been to the ER. I've been to doctor's visits. I've been to urgent cares. I have physicals every year. I've been on certain prescriptions. I've gone to therapy. You get the point. So I'm not out here just like uninsured and not having access to care. It's the same thing, except I'm not just taking the one size fits plan that was given to me as a full-time nurse. Instead, I'm seeking out what plan I actually want and the health benefits that actually worked best for me. So that's the bulk of the info that I wanted to share with you guys today regarding per diem nursing. Now I'm going to talk about like next steps. Like, okay, Zaina, this info was cool, but now what? So my gift to you is free access to my nursing community group on school.com, which is basically like a Facebook group where I'm able to offer career advice on how to transition into per diem status so that way you don't have to do it alone like I did. To join the group, you guys can go to school.com/ your nurse career. So I'm going to spell it out for you. And it's also going to be in the chat, like in this, in the Riverside chat. So you can see it there as well. So it's SKOOL.com/ your nurse career. And you can go there and sign up for free and post your questions you have in there. My team and I will then answer your questions and provide a bunch of valuable information as well. Now, you might be wondering, okay, what's in it for me? Like, why would Zaina give away all this free advice? The free advice preps nurses with a foundational understanding of per diem status. If you want to build a successful per diem nursing career on top of that foundation, then you can sign up for access to my paid mastermind group, which includes a 2-hour, 12-module e-course. This course will guide you step by step through all the information you'll need to transition into per diem status in as little as 90 days. You'll purchase the e-course. Purchasing the e-course will give you access to the mastermind group, and you can find the e-course purchase link posted at school.com/ your nurse career. Once again, it's going to be in the chat as well, or it's SKOOL.com/ your nurse career. Now, I actually designed the rest of the time, which looks like it's only been 23 minutes so far. So the rest of the time for this webinar, I want you to do two things. I want you to, one, write down any questions you still might have. And then two, go to school.com/ your nurse career, sign up there and post those questions in the general group thread, because a lot of you will have the same questions and I want everybody to be able to refer back to this and see the answers. So my team and I will do the best we can to get to all of you. So literally, as soon as we log off this webinar, that's where we're headed to. We're headed to school.com, and I'll be able to start answering your questions in real time right now. So thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate you. And we decided to record this webinar, and you'll be able to watch it on the school website as well, or on the school app as well. So you'll be able to have access to that after you sign up. So on that note, thank you guys, and I'm out.